This is problem number 26. And the problem reads, I'm going to go ahead and write the augmented matrix for this so we can save some space here. So if you look at the problem, the coefficients are 3, -4, 8, 27. Well, let me copy it. The formula would be -3 times row 1 plus row 2. Okay, so then when we do that, so row 1 stays the same, 3, -4, 8, 27. Row 3 stays the same, 1, 8, -2, and 9. So when you multiply -3 times 3 is -9 plus 9, that would be 0. Now -3 times -4, positive 12 minus 1, 11. Okay. -3 times 8, -24 minus 1, -25. Okay. And then -3 times 27, that's -81 plus 3, -79. Negative what? What is it?
The other number is positive.
It's positive, so it's -81 plus 3. 80 what? 27 times 3. What did you get from 27 times 3? Okay, and then when you subtract the 3, what did you get? 78? -78? Okay, so -78. Perfect, okay. So now we already took care of that. What else can we do? Do you want to bring this one up here, probably? And then bring this over to this side? Flip-flop this two? So you can have a 1 on the top, right? Okay, so the formula for that is just R, and then you put the rows that you're going to interchange. So it's going to be 3 for 1. 3, you switch it with the 1. So we're just going to switch both of those two. 1, 8, -2, 9. And that's what we could have done on the first step if you wanted to, do that, okay? So it's 3, -4, 8, and then 27. The second row, it's 0, 11, -25, and -78. Okay, now that I have a 1 on the top, can we eliminate that 3? Yes, so what should be the formula to do that? It's got to be -3, right? -3 times row 1, and then add it to row 3. So the first and the second rows stay the same. 1, 8, -2, 9, 0, 11, -25, -78. Now, -3 times 1 is -3 plus 3. That is 0. -3 times 8, -24 minus 4, -28. -3 times -2 is positive 6 plus 8, 14, right? And then -3 times 9 is -27 plus 27, 0. Perfect, okay. So far so good. Now we need to work with the second and the third equation. We need to somehow, make sure that we eliminate one of those two, or we make that into a 1. Can we make like this one? You know, this 2 seems to be multiples, right? Somehow. So if we want to make this into a 1 and then flip this 2, so we can bring this over here. So let's go ahead and, what do you want to do? Flip it first and then multiply, or multiply and then flip? Doesn't matter. What do you want to do first? Well, you think I'll make this smaller because I need space.
Can we multiply and then flip?
Sure. Okay. So the formula should be multiply, which is multiply by negative 1/28, row 3. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and keep the first and the second the way they are. 1, 8, negative 2, 9, 0, 11, negative 25, negative 78. And when you multiply the third row would be 0, 1, negative 1/2, and then it's just 0. Then we can flip them. And so when you flip them, you're going to say the row, you're going to exchange which and which row? The second and the third. Okay, so second and third switch. You're going to flip around. So we keep the first one, 1, 8, negative 2, 9. And the ones that are going to flip are going to be 0, 1, negative 1/2, 0. Then it's 0, 11, negative 25, and negative 78. So those two flipped around. Okay. Now we can get rid of the 11. Okay, how do we get rid of the 11? What should be the formula? We need to make that 11 into a 0. So how can we do that? What is that? Can barely hear you, Brenda. What is it? Something with the 11, yes. So what about the 11? 11 positive? Negative, because we want to get rid of that, so it's going to be the opposite. So negative 11 times which row? You want to use a 1, so it would be row 2, isn't it? We use a 1 on the row 2, and we add it to the row 3, so we can eliminate the 11 on the row 3.
Oh, so it's the one above the
Right.
row that you're going to change?
Right. You always choose on the column, oops, the column that you want to use, like for example, you want to eliminate this, you want to use the 1 that is on that column. And if there's no 1, then make a 1 in that column and then use it to eliminate. Okay. So the first row stays the same. The second row stays the same. The third row is the one that changes. So it's negative 11 times 0 is 0 plus 0 is 0. And then negative 11 times 1 is negative 11 plus 11 is 0. Negative 11 times negative 1/2, that would be negative 5, a positive 5.5. Right? So 25 minus 5.5. Did you get 19.5? Would that be negative or positive? Should be negative, right? Because the 25 is negative. That's bigger. So it's negative 19.5. And then is negative 11 times 0 is 0 minus 78 is negative 78. Okay? So now at this point, we can make that negative 19.5 into a 1. How can we make that into a 1? What should we do? What should be the formula? How do you make a number into a 1? Well, just multiply by the reciprocal of the number. And the reciprocal would be 1 over 19.5. So it would be, let me see, I'm gonna put it, it's kind of small. Let me make it bigger, and then I'll write it, and then I'll make it smaller. Okay, so it's negative 1 over 19.5 times row 3. Okay, so that would give us the first and the second row stays the same. The third row would be 0, 0, 1, isn't it? And then divide 78 times 19.5. And what is that equals to? Magically, it's a whole number. It's 4. Wow, that is so nice. Okay, I'm so glad it's so far. Okay, now let's try to make, we're going to go up. Make this a 0, and then up. Make this a 0, and then make this a 0. Okay, so this is called, by the way, reduced row echelon form. Okay, so where you try to get the identity, let me try to make all of this smaller.